Hi, everyone. In this video, we're going to record the procedures to download VMware Horizon Client so that we can access the virtual image that's going to be hosted at Mount San Antonio College for us to do the lab exercise and also to complete our discussion board and all the course-related information will be hosted remotely. So we need to install this into your personal computer. One very important note is that make sure that you already back up all the important personal data from the computer that you try to install on the Horizon client. If you already have the VMware Horizon client installed and it has been working, then you don't really need to reinstall it with the new updated client. Open this login instruction document. It's going to tell you how to connect to Mount and log in to the virtual image environment and run the exercise. I will show you the detail in this video. But the first thing before we do that is that we have to download the software. The document here, the link, this is the link for you to go to VMware to download for Windows, Macintosh, and Linux driver. So if you click that, then and also click here to open another window, then you will be able to see there's a Horizon client, either 8.75, 7.4, all of them will work. But since if it's a new installation, you can use Horizon 8. If you have 5.4, 3, or anything that's working, you don't have to redo it. And here is that you can actually download for the Windows. If you have Windows client and you have other Macintosh client or Linux client, you will download your client accordingly. So now I'm going to just go back. And instead of download it directly from there, I can just go ahead. I already put a link here, so you may as well just download the window here. So this is the download link. All right. So once you clicked, and it's going to download it, you can see it from here. And then it will be in your download folder, depends on what your client operating system is. And then you will double click on the exe file if this is for Windows that I'm demonstrating. So after you download, you can click here, then open when it's done, then just go ahead and open it. And you'll be able to locate the VMware client, which is under the download folders in here. And you will double click that for it to install. I just try to uninstall it so that I can do the demonstration. That's where the other instance is running. You can only have one instance running, so this one should be successful. Okay, when this is done, you can restart it, and I'm going to restart it later once I finish the demo. Once you finish that, you will have something like this. So I'm going to just reduce it and bring it to the side. And you're going to see this as your Horizon client. And you can double click that. And it will show that you have harrier.mounsec.edu here. Now you can click that. Double clicked. So it's go to harrier.mounsec.edu. Sometimes it didn't pick up the server name, but you can always follow the document to add a name into it. And then this will be my portal password or your portal password. The username will be your Canvas username, and this will be your Canvas password. So once I finish that, I can click on the login in there. And it's going to take over your whole screen, and you can make it smaller, of course. So this is the machine for Jim Gao's class once you log in. Sometimes it can take a while, so just be patient. So once it's ready, it will say student here, and you are not going to put in any password. So everyone in my course will log in as student, as by default. And just click that arrow key, then you'll be logged on into the Horizon Client. Those are the virtual machine hosted among SAP. Whether it's hosted at Amazon AWS or Microsoft Azure or the Google Internet Cloud, it doesn't matter. It's the remote host image that has been hosted somewhere on the internet. So let's go back to the canvas here. There's a VMware virtual IP address and also the topology. If you click that, it will tell you what is this topology related to the image that you just signed on. This is the image, the machine for my class. This is the remote image for your Horizon Client when it come up. And we're going to use the VMware workstation. So you will highlight this VMware workstation. And this is actually for the Cisco's packet tracer, so this one. And this icon is for all the courses, the virtual machine. So if you double click that, it will run. Yes. So this is actually the computer here, and there's an internet firewall connected to the internet. And then those are the image that has two NIC card, network interface cards. And then those are the image that has connected to the outside and the inside. And the outside inside are connected by those images with two NIC cards. So one NIC card is called outside, one NIC card is called inside. So let me move this to the side, and this is what the topology looks like. Okay, so this is the one I just introduced to you, and it can be translated to this one. It can be translated to this topology, make it more clear that you can have the say two NIC cards with the ASA virtualized Cisco adaptive security appliances, or the PFSense, or security onion, which is the IPS box. It will have two interfaces, one connected to the inside, one connected to the outside, all right? And then we have a firewall here. The firewall here is connected, also have two NIC cards, one connected to the outside, the other one connected to the whole internet, right? So all those are the inside internet with the IP address of 10.0.1, and the outside is 10.10.10. Right? And of course, then it will go out to the internet with divisions IP address. So this is the topology in relationship to when you log into the Canvas to do our exercise. So we're going to power on quite a few different boxes, starting from the oldest Windows 2000 to the latest Windows 10 and Windows 2019 server. And using the ASA as a firewall, and the PFSense, also the security onion as the security monitoring boxes, and also using the vulnerability assessment tool like Kali to perform our lab and exercises. Some of those boxes are pre-configured. So those are the notes for the topology that you can do the testing. You can follow that, and you can power it on and do your testing. We At this point, you don't need to do all the exercise yet. During our Zoom meeting, I will actually pull everybody together and we complete some basic testing here. And those are just provided if you have home VMware player or VMware workstation, then you can actually install it. And this is the detail of how I set it up in the classroom. And this is the ASA virtualized. You can download it from Cisco. This is the evaluation copy that it runs slow and with the certain function has been turned off, especially the security function. And we don't have to worry about the syntax, but I just put it there for your references. And it's already been pre-configured, so we don't have to go into the detail. Later on, when each exercise comes, we'll go into to show you the syntax, even though you don't have to remember syntax, but to understand the meaning is also very important. So we go back to the canvas and we cover all the detail here. And this, if you, in case you wanted to log on to try it out, there's username and password. So if you click that, it will tell you all of my image. There's username and the password, username, password for all of them. And last but not the least is the most important thing here, the syllabus policy quiz. So during our Zoom meeting, before you go, we'll make sure that we are going to take this test. You can, again, take it as many times as you want, but then make sure you got 100 points out of that. And so there are total 10 questions. Take your time to read that and complete the exercise before you sign off. Okay. This is the end of this recording. Thank you.